Hi everybody, my name is Esther Drost. I am Dutch and I live in the south of France, and with me I have Brajesh Singh, who lives in Miami. Now, this video is about chronic pain relief, about a program called Therapy Now, and we both have experiences in this program. We resolved our chronic pain, back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, knee pain, etc. with this particular program. And tonight we're going to tell you something more about it. Brajesh, maybe can you tell us something about what is chronic pain?
Sure, and thank you, Esther. And like you said, we both healed ourselves from chronic pain, and we're both coaches for Zero Pain Now, and we want to share our story and also some tips that you can find helpful for healing yourself from chronic pain. And by chronic pain, what we mean is pain that lasts more than several months of pain. Typically, an acute pain, the worst time it lasts is about 6 weeks, and our body heals itself. If a pain lasts longer than 6 weeks, into months, into years, then it's defined as chronic pain. So that's what I mean by chronic pain. I suffered for 8 years. I know, Esther, you suffered for many years as well. So let's start by sharing our experiences with chronic pain and how we healed ourselves. So Esther, would you like to share your story?
Yeah, thank you, Brajesh. So in total, I think I suffered for 6 years. But if I look back now, while having gone through Zero Pain Now, I think it already started way earlier in my life. But the last 6 years were really persistent. And chronic pain is indeed what you're saying, after 6 weeks. Now, chronic pain is sometimes difficult to imagine for people. When you have a toothache of a middle ear infection, then you have this persistent pain. And that's what it's like to be in pain for hours in a day. And it's not all day, 24 hours a day, but it can be, some people have it when they're sitting, other people have it when they're standing. For me, I could not stand and I could not walk, I could not move. The pain would come up after 15 minutes, and then it was until I moved for about an hour. And then I just had to sit down because it was so bad. And I had 3 small kids to raise. And so that was really difficult to deal with the pain. And it's also difficult for other people to imagine what it is like. Now, my pain started when I was in the Netherlands with my 3 kids on holiday. I rented a holiday home. And I had a lot of grocery shopping bags in my hand. And then the small one, who was 6 or 7 months, I had him on my hip, what moms do, everything together. And then I slipped when I went into the door, and I was like, damn it. And that's where it made crack in my neck, in my back. And I thought, okay, this will pass. But it didn't pass. And then I went to the doctor, I got some medication, and it still didn't pass. And I went to the chiropractor. He got some pain out, but not all. So, and then that started a long journey on how I can get rid of this stabbing, soaring pain that was driving me mad, because I had those 3 small kids also to raise. So I think in total, I tried over 30 different techniques and methods. Massage, physical therapist, hypnosis, psychologist, because at one point in time I thought, no, pain is in my head. I'm crazy, there's like everything that I do, everything that doctors tell me to do doesn't help. So there must be something in my head. But I continued my search, and at one point in time I stumbled upon the Zero Pain Now program. And I was like, yeah, this is not possible. I've tried already so many things. This is not possible. But given the fact that I really wanted to get rid of my pain, I did try it, and I did get the unbelievable results. All of a sudden, snip of the finger, pain was gone, and that was like, whoa, what happened here? This is not possible. And then you understand a lot of the principles behind Zero Pain Now. It's just not a medical issue. It's also, the pain is not in your head. The pain is real. But it's just not a medical issue. And by learning on what the real cause of pain is, it was able to get rid of my pain pretty quickly. So I was really glad that I did this. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. and I didn't know some of the details of what you shared. Like I can imagine being a mother and, you know, like carrying your children around. I imagine life must have been really difficult.
It was,
Having,
yeah, it was. And I don't think many people realize how difficult it is when you are in chronic pain every day. And you try to keep up, you try to keep up appearances, you know, but just continue life, live with the pain. And I was working in the Netherlands at the time, so I had a lot of traveling as well. But you just want to continue your life, but the pain is sometimes just too much.
yeah. My story is also similar. The real pain started in 2009. That's more than, I guess, 11 years ago. But prior to that, yeah, I was having little symptoms, which I thought was just me in my posture. Then 2009, we had the financial crisis, and I was working from home because of the financial crisis, and I would be putting in 12, 14-hour days. And I started getting a lot of pain just getting out of my car. I remember once driving home and I'm just sitting in my car saying, how am I going to get out of the car and into my house? And I had to almost fall out to get in. And I went to see doctors, and they had all kinds of spinal issues, degenerated discs, Schnorr's nodes, bulging discs, herniated discs. And the doctor told me my spine is like a 60-year-old, and that, you know, that's possibly the reason that's causing the pain. And for the next 8 years, I went to physical therapy. I started building up my core. I tried acupuncture. I tried massages. I tried putting heat pads and cold pads. And I read this entire book on posture, and I was sure that it was because it was my posture that was causing the pain. And for like a few months, the pain really did go away. And I was telling everyone, yes, this is it. And I found out that my pain came back, and people were like, well, didn't you know, change your posture? And I'm like, yeah, I thought I did, but it just, nothing was working. Kind of like the things that you tried. And I remember going in the 8th year, I found a doctor that was a director of a hospital and was highly recommended. And I went to see him. He sent me back to physical therapy. And after 6 months with him, I went to his office one day, and he looks at me and he goes, Mr. Singh, I'm sorry, but you're probably stuck with this for the rest of your life. And hearing that from a doctor, and I've seen like 4 or 5 doctors by now, I concluded that that's it, you know, that there is no cure for this, and that medicine has tried everything possible to help me heal, and nothing's working. And it was at that point that I opened my mind to other possibilities. And that's when I discovered Zero Pain Now, to find out that the pain is not a physical issue. It has nothing to do with anything physical in my body. And it's related to a psychological or psychophysical issue. And that just because I have all these deficiencies, which by the way, I still do, I still have all those spinal issues, but I am no longer in pain. It's been about almost 3 years since I've been out of pain. And I did the Zero Pain Now process, and I had great results with it. And I became a coach for this. And that's what we want to do, is to help other people heal themselves from chronic pain. And especially in this time and age that we're at with the coronavirus pandemic, the wonderful thing about this program is you don't have to leave your home. We can help you directly over a video call, over a phone call, over online program. So even though it's a pandemic, it's actually safe, and there's no drugs, no surgery, no physical therapy required. It's simply looking at your life, recognizing that it's not a physical issue, and then becoming aware of the true cause of the pain. And once you discover that, then the pain goes away.
Yeah, a nice story, Brajesh. That's good to hear. Now, the funny thing is, you have an IT background. You were an IT engineer, and I've worked in IT consultancy for over 20 years. And me too, initially, I was like, oh, I've been sitting way too long behind my computer. I'm sitting in different offices. this is the cause of my pain. I had exactly a similar experience. And also me, I was also told by the doctors that my pain was caused by a degenerated disc. I had even found a surgeon that wanted to put a fake one in between my vertebrae. So, and I was like, okay, that didn't feel good, so I didn't continue with that. But it is kind of trip voyage through the forest of all kinds of therapies, where basically everything only gives temporary relief. So, and you're right, the Zero Pain Now program is doing things completely different. The structure is almost never cause of the pain. What you're saying, the degenerated discs, they are still with me, and they will probably worsen over the years, but that's not the cause of pain. And there's research actually available that shows that this cannot be the cause of pain, because if to give the example, in the New England Journal of Medicine, there's a research from 1994 already, where 100 people go through a scan that have never had back pain, and 2 out of 3 of them have abnormalities in their spine. So how come they don't have pain and they have this abnormality, which then it already shows that it cannot be the cause of their pain. Now, Brajesh, can you tell a little bit more maybe about what is it the Zero Pain Now process for the ones watching, if you
Sure. Yeah, and just and related to what you were saying, that after I was able to heal myself from the pain, I thought, oh, I just got lucky, with this program, and that, it may work for some people and it may not work for other people. And as I went through the program and going through the training as a coach, I discovered that more than 90% of the time, chronic pain is not a physical issue. It's not even a medical issue. And that made sense to me because of all the doctors that I saw, and they were all basically shrugging and telling me to take drugs or painkillers or go to physical therapy, and it's not a medical issue. So that's what was surprising for me, was that not only was I just lucky, but there was a 90% chance that I would heal from this process. And as you know, we found from Zero Pain Now that it's 97% chance that it's not a physical issue. And the process is very simple, yet it's also hard to believe. So one of the ways I try to relate to it is that, imagine if you have you miss lunch and your stomach was rumbling, then you've developed that as a habit. So if you keep missing your lunch, your stomach is going to rumble every day. And one day, if let's say you skip lunch for maybe 2 weeks, and then your stomach stops rumbling. So how come it stopped rumbling? It wasn't because there was no food. It was because you were thinking about the fact that you were missing lunch. Otherwise, if it was really related to the food, then it would just always rumble all the time. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the analogies that I use, is that the pain that's being caused is something that is a psychophysical activity. It started by a way of thinking, and that results in a physical activity, maybe an embarrassment. If you feel embarrassed, your blood rushes to your face, or you have a near car accident and your heart rate increases, but nothing actually happened. It was just a psychological activity driving a physical activity. So the process simply works by showing you evidence, just like you mentioned, where we see MRIs of people that have no pain, but they have all kinds of issues in their MRIs. So first, understanding that it's not a physical issue. Then second, looking at your life and seeing where the psychophysical activities are taking place and breaking that pattern. So that's what the process is. It's a 30-day or 28-day program. Zero Pain Now is a 28-day program where we take you step by step into looking at when that pain is coming up for you, observing your daily life and observing when the pain comes up and starting to make the connections that it has nothing to do with physical, that it's a psychophysical activity. And by day 6, 85% of our clients are pain-free. So that's the success rate that we have in Zero Pain Now. And we found that if you take a 2-minute quiz just to determine the type of pain that you're having and the frequency, we can tell you with 97% certainty whether this program will work for you. So that's what came up for me, was discovering that not only was I just lucky, but that this applies to more than 90% of chronic pain that's out there.
Yeah, and that makes the program even more unbelievable and hard to believe. This high success rate, but that's the rates that we have, right? And we are not alone. I'm in France. You are in Miami. Adam Heller, the creator of Zero Pain Now, is in California. He sees it every day over and over again, the same results. Now, if I were to ask you, how would you, which one word would you take to describe Zero Pain Now?
Yeah, I think I already used that word, which is unbelievable.
Okay.
And skeptical. It's been almost 3 years now, pain-free. I remember a friend of mine, I gave her a piggyback ride maybe like a month ago. And I had never, in 10 or 11 years, never given anyone a piggyback ride because I was just too scared that would I have an injured spine and there's no way I can carry somebody. But I carried her fine, and now I give piggyback rides all the time. So I would just say unbelievable is my word for it. And and I'm curious, like, what's one word that you would use to describe it?
Yeah.
And also, like, what's your experience in being a coach for Zero Pain Now, and what have you learned in this process?
Well, my one word is revelation. When I learned, I already knew about the mind-body connection, and still I wasn't able to explain my pain. So when I went through the whole program, it was like, whoa, so many things were opening up to me. Like, wow, this is the real mind-body connection. I could never imagine this would have such an impact. So it was amazing. There's a lot of words actually that you can use for Zero Pain Now. So how my experience as a Zero Pain Now coach, I mean, the ones that I coach, they all have the same. I mean, everybody has the same experience. Everybody, before deciding they want to go through Zero Pain Now, is like, oh, this is not possible. This is quackery. This is unbelievable and septic. How can this is my scan. My doctor is telling me this is causing my pain. And everybody is hesitant. And everybody that goes through the program afterwards said, my God, if I had known this, that you can resolve it like this in just a month. And it's difficult. It's really difficult to explain to others. But if you go through and if your pain is gone, I mean, then you are so grateful.
And I love the example that you use, Esther. I've heard you use this frequently, is that the earth is round and earth is flat analogy, that there is so much evidence out there to show that the earth is flat, that I could live my entire life believing the earth is flat and everything would still be okay. Until I launched a rocket, then things might start going wrong. But and to convince somebody that the earth is round isn't that obvious. Yet I love that analogy that you use with your clients, like earth is round versus earth is flat kind of analogy. And once you see that, you will never get that pain again. Like once you see that, oh my God, the cause of my pain is a psychophysical activity that's originating in my brain and impacting my body, I can just stop the pain anytime I want. Yeah. And the pain goes away. So it's a permanent relief, which is I've met people that have tried things and they've become pain-free, but a month later or 6 months later, the pain returns because they're not addressing the cause. it's like a placebo effect. And yeah, just every time I help a client, just to see the joy on their face, and you know, the revelation, like that, the word that you use, to see them, they're just so happy. And there's so many side benefits too, right? Like the revelation, for me, I also had allergies, and my allergies have gone. And I had constipation, and even that's gone. So we found there's a link between gastrointestinal issues and back pain as well.
Yeah.
So I had many other side effects from learning this process. So it generalizes across life, which is, I think, the word that Adam likes to use. So discovering this process is going to be helpful not only for your pain, but it'll generalize across your life.
Yeah.
Just give you a much more better life.
Yeah, I have the same. I also resolved 2 of my allergies in this process. It does. And in general, people sleep better when they go through therapy now. But already to get this pain that is driving you mad, to get rid of that's already, you get your life back. Yeah.
Right.
So thank you for your attention all. On both Brajesh and I have on our particular websites, we have some testimonials of people that have gone through Zero Pain Now, and you can find the pain test on our websites, so you can see if this process is something for you. The good news, what Brajesh has already told, it's pandemic proof. You don't need to leave your house. You can do everything online, and most people have already magnificent results within the first week. And in total, it's a 4 or 5 week program. So thank you for your attention. Thank you, Brajesh, for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Esther.
And have a nice day.
Yeah, and we'll give our contact information at the end of this presentation. So just stay tuned, and you can reach out to me. I'm in Miami, so if you're in the Americas, feel free to reach out to me. And if you're in Europe, in Esther's time zone, feel free to reach out to her. She's multilingual, so she can also speak in many different languages. I basically just speak English.
But we need English, because the program is in English.
All right, yeah, that's true.
We need a sufficient knowledge of English.
Yeah, thank you for doing this conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.